What if I told you there's a place where a tribe lives entirely in the present moment, with no words for yesterday or tomorrow, where women dominate the world's beauty pageants, yet the wealth gap is so extreme that luxury villas sit mere hundreds of meters from sprawling hillside favelas, where an entire lake vanishes into thin air, only to mysteriously reappear months later, leaving scientists completely baffled. Welcome to Brazil, a country so vast and diverse that it defies every expectation. From uncontacted tribes that attack on sight to underground lakes that glow like liquid sapphire, from festivals that bring millions to the streets to ghost towns haunted by unexplained phenomena, this country is a treasure trove of the extraordinary. Before we dive in, if you love discovering mind-blowing facts about our incredible world, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. Your likes and comments let us know we're doing an amazing job, and we read every single one. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's begin. Number 15. The homeland of the world's most mysterious tribes. Did you know that Brazil has a tribe that doesn't know how to count? It's the Pirahã tribe, living along the mighty river deep in the Amazon rainforest. In their language, there are no words for numbers like 1, 2, or 3, only the concepts of a little and a lot. When they need to describe quantity, they use expressions like just enough, not enough, or too much. Their language also has no past or future tense. Everything is expressed in the present, so instead of saying, "I went hunting yesterday," they simply say, "I go hunting." They don't tell old stories, remember ancestors, or pass down legends. Everything they care about exists in the present moment, in the here and now. Their lives are, deeply connected to nature. They hunt, gather, and fish every single day, taking only what they need for that moment, never storing anything away. If there's extra food, well, they just share it instead of keeping it. In their worldview, there is no concept of being hungry tomorrow because they believe the universe, the forest, and the mighty river will always provide what is needed. This way of life has led many anthropologists to call them the happiest tribe in the world, as they live almost free of worry or fear about the future. What makes the Suruwaha particularly fascinating is, honestly, their spiritual world. In ancient rituals, they use plant-based substances with hallucinogenic properties, often extracted from special vines or forest plants. When the ceremony begins, participants drink or inhale the preparation, entering a trance-like state. They believe that in that moment, the spirits of their ancestors appear to speak with them, guiding their descendants to live in harmony with the forest, avoid conflict, and maintain balance between humans and nature. Finally, when it comes to Brazilian tribes, one cannot forget the Karubo, known as the most feared tribe in the Amazon. The Karubo are often called the head hitters because their traditional weapon is a massive wooden club that can weigh nearly half as much as the person wielding it. During attacks, they strike their opponents on the head, knocking them out instantly. They live a nomadic lifestyle, constantly moving with the seasons in small groups of 20 to 30 people. The Karubo do not wear clothing. Both men and women go bare-skinned, sometimes covering themselves with simple leaves. They live almost completely isolated from the outside world and are considered one of the most mysterious uncontacted tribes in the Amazon rainforest. Most notably, they have a strong sense of territorial protection, and any outsider stepping onto their land is considered a threat. Once spotted, they attack immediately without warning or negotiation. Brazil has recorded many disappearances of people who accidentally wandered into their territory. Brazil is home to more than 300 indigenous tribes, many of them just as fascinating. Would you like to learn more? If so, comment number 1 below. Number 14. Culture shocks when you arrive in Brazil. In many countries, especially in the US or Europe, the word motel usually means a cheap roadside inn where travelers stop for the night. But in Brazil, the concept is completely different. Here, a motel is designed specifically for couples looking for a private space, and rooms are rented by the hour instead of by the night. The interiors are incredibly diverse. Instead of just a bed and a TV like regular motels, Brazilian motels can feature large jacuzzi tubs, color-changing mood lights, automatic curtains, and mirrors covering the ceiling. Many are decorated with creative themes, from futuristic spaceship cabins to artificial tropical forests, complete with bird sounds and the scent of fresh grass released from the walls. Some rooms even include specialty furniture, rotating floors, and costumes for guests who want to roleplay a little. At this point, you might be surprised, but that's still not the biggest culture shock. What really astonishes many foreign visitors is how comfortable Brazilians are with showing affection, even when they've just met. Here, a kiss isn't necessarily a romantic gesture between lovers. It can simply express attraction, friendliness, or just matching vibes. In fact, stories have circulated on social media suggesting that in Rio de Janeiro, if you hold eye contact with someone for about 5 seconds, there's a good chance they'll walk up and actually kiss you. It sounds unbelievable, but many locals confirm there's some truth to this openness. This comfort with showing affection also shows up in daily communication. Brazilians tend to talk very close to each other and often touch the other person's arm or shoulder to create a sense of connection. The one arm's length distance common in other countries basically doesn't exist here. Not only physically close, Brazilians are also known for speaking loudly and quickly. Many first-time visitors think people are arguing, but in reality, it's just their way of showing excitement and energy in a conversation. Another thing that might leave tourists speechless is how straightforward Brazilians are. If you've gained weight, look tired, or are dressed differently, they might comment right away without hesitation. Phrases like, "Did you gain weight?" or "You look tired today," aren't considered rude, but rather a sign of genuine concern. Number 13. The country of the world's most stunning women. Brazil isn't just famous for football and carnival. It's also known worldwide as the land of some of the most stunning women on the planet. A walk down the streets of Rio or Sao Paulo will show you why, with women who have captivating deep eyes, striking features, voluminous curly hair, and that signature sun-kissed tropical skin. Many of them have the classic hourglass figure with slim waists and curvy hips. And of course, with bodies that beautiful, they're never shy about showing them off in vibrant bikinis on the beach. Thanks to their confidence and natural allure, Brazilian women have dominated international beauty pageants for decades. Brazil has won multiple major crowns, including Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss International, and Miss Earth titles, making it one of the most successful countries in global beauty competitions. If there's one thing that defines Brazilian beauty standards, it's the legendary curves. In this country, curves aren't just admired, they're celebrated as a source of national pride. There's even a contest called Miss Bum Bum, which literally means Miss Butt, created to find the woman with the most attractive behind in Brazil. Many women spend hours each week at the gym, especially on glute workouts, with one goal in mind: to make it firm, round, and perfect. For those who lack the patience or time, cosmetic surgery is a common choice. Brazil currently ranks among the top countries in the world for buttock enhancement procedures. Beyond their figures, Brazilian women pay incredible attention to detail. Weekly manicures are practically a ritual. It's not just about beauty, but a way of showing self-care and respect for themselves. In their culture, chipped or unkempt nails can make someone appear careless or even impolite. Even body hair is treated in a unique way. Instead of waxing or removing it completely, many Brazilian women prefer to bleach it. The hair turns light blonde or platinum, blending in with their tan skin under the sun, giving a smooth, radiant and healthy summer glow all year round. When it comes to love, Brazilian women are known for being affectionate and loyal. Yet they have little tolerance for control or possessiveness. Many are open to marrying foreigners as long as their independence is respected. Nowadays, many young women even take the initiative to find love through dating apps like Tinder or Bumble. So yes, the chance to win a Brazilian heart is real, if you're observant enough and brave enough to step into their colorful world. Would you like to know a few tips on how to approach these stunning and passionate women? If so, comment number 2 below. Brazil is the largest country in South America, taking up nearly half of the continent's total area, covering more than 8.5 million square kilometers. It's also the 5th largest country in the world after Russia, Canada, China, and the United States. The country is so vast that it shares borders with 10 out of 12 South American nations, with only Chile and Ecuador not touching its territory. The name Brazil comes from a very special tree called pau-brasil. This dark red wood was once exported by the Portuguese during the colonial period. In Portuguese, the word brasa means red like embers, and over time that name came to represent the entire land, rich in natural resources. Brazil is also considered one of the most biodiverse countries on Earth. Thanks to the vast Amazon rainforest and its diverse ecosystems, it is home to millions of species. Some exist nowhere else, such as the golden lion tamarin with its shiny fur, the pink Amazon river dolphin, giant anteaters, and the transparent glass frog whose skin is so thin you can see its organs. The Amazon is also home to some of the most fascinating and bizarre creatures on the planet, like piranhas that can strip prey in seconds, giant otters over 2 meters long that hunt young caimans, and the tiny yet deadly Philobtes terribilis frog, whose toxin can kill 10 adult humans with a single drop. Beyond its natural wonders, Brazil is also famous as the land of coffee. It's the world's largest coffee producer, responsible for over 1/3 of the global supply. Brazilians drink coffee daily and affectionately call it cafezinho, meaning a little beloved coffee. Inviting someone for a cafezinho is considered a warm gesture of hospitality. And if you're invited, it's best not to refuse. Doing so might be seen as cold or impolite. And if you're a football fan, Brazil is undoubtedly a name that stands among the greatest of all time. The national team holds the record for the most World Cup victories, with 5 championships in 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, and 2002. The legendary Pelé, known as the King of Football, remains the only player ever to lift the World Cup trophy 3 times. But here's a little-known fact. To this day, Brazil has never beaten Norway. Norway is one of the few national teams with a winning record against Brazil, having never lost to them with 2 wins and 2 draws in 4 matches. A strange Nordic curse that the yellow and green squad has yet to break. Number 11, the strange spiritual communities of Brazil. In Brazil, there's a community that believes aliens not only exist, but also deserve to be worshipped. It might sound like something out of a movie, but it's real, and it happens in the town of Varginha, in the state of Minas Gerais. Back in 1996, this place suddenly became the center of worldwide attention, after several locals claimed they had seen a strange creature about 1.6 meters tall, with a large head, red eyes, and an odd-looking body. The international media called it the Varginha incident, one of the most famous UFO phenomena of the decade. From that event, a group of people began forming a new belief system they called UFO religion. In their faith, aliens aren't monsters or invaders, but messengers of divine beings. They believe these entities are silently watching over humanity and will one day return to guide mankind at a predestined moment. To show their devotion, believers built temples shaped like spaceships, where they perform energy transmission rituals meant to communicate with extraterrestrial beings. To them, aliens are living proof of the existence of gods in the vast universe. But if you think a religion worshipping aliens is the strangest thing in Brazil, there's another community that's even more otherworldly. It's called Vale do Amanhecer, or the Valley of the Dawn. Founded in 1969 by a woman named Neva Chavez Zelaya, Neva claimed that she was chosen by God and beings from another planet to deliver spiritual messages to humankind. From there, she created a belief system blending theology, mysticism, and faith in extraterrestrial life. Unlike the UFO religion, which sees aliens as divine messengers, the Valley of the Dawn teaches that humans themselves are descendants of ancient cosmic civilizations. They believe that every person carries a star energy spark, and through spiritual practice, one can awaken that energy and purify the soul from negative forces. During ceremonies, followers wear colorful costumes inspired by Egyptian mythology, Christianity, and even images of space warriors. Their rituals mix prayer, meditation, and music, creating an atmosphere that's both mystical and surreal. Today, the community has hundreds of thousands of followers across Brazil and South America, and its main temple is considered one of the most extraordinary pilgrimage sites in the world. Brazil is the biggest economy in South America, and it's a world leader in sending out things like coffee, soybeans, and iron ore. But even though it's a massive economic player, the country has a huge gap between its rich and poor. About 10% of the wealthiest Brazilians own most of the country's money, while tens of millions of others live on just about $100 to $150 a month. In fact, according to the World Bank, the richest 1% of Brazilians earn more than 30 times what the poorest half of the population makes put together. In Brazil, you don't need fancy numbers to see this unfairness. It's right there in front of you. In Rio de Janeiro, posh villas and five-star hotels line the beaches of Copacabana and Leblon, looking like something off a postcard. But just glance up at the hills behind them, and you'll spot a completely different world. Rusty tin roofs, plain brick walls, and power lines all tangled up like a spider's web. That's Rocinha, the biggest favela in South America. From a distance, Rocinha looks like a giant patch of reddish-brown homes stacked tightly over the hillside, where sunlight can only squeeze through the tiniest gaps. Many houses are no bigger than a bedroom, but squeeze in 4 or 5 people. The alleys are so narrow that 2 people walking in opposite directions have to turn sideways to get past each other. When it rains, floods rush through carrying rubbish, mud, and a damp smell that outsiders can barely stand. But for the people who live there, it's just a normal part of life. Surprisingly, despite the poverty, Rocinha has an incredibly lively community spirit. Locals run little restaurants, barbershops, grocery stores, schools, clinics, and even music studios and tattoo parlors. Everywhere you go, you'll hear the beats of funk karaoke, see colorful graffiti murals, and meet people whose smiles are genuine, even when they have little more than their optimism. Still, it's true that Rocinha used to be a hotbed of crime, fueled by poverty. The police often thought twice about going in, and tourists were warned not to wander off alone unless they fancied an unplanned adventure. Luckily, things have got better. Many parts of Rocinha have been organized into guided tourist areas. Local tours take visitors through the maze of alleys, climbing stairs like a parkour course, stopping at graffiti workshops, enjoying a home-cooked meal, and if you're lucky, catching young locals performing funk right in their front gardens. Some tours even team up with social organizations to help the community, making the experience not just about exploring, but also about giving something back. If you stay in Brazil for a bit, you'll notice that people here buy almost everything in installments, from phones and fridges to even meals in restaurants. Paying in installments isn't just an option. It's such a deeply ingrained habit that if a shop doesn't offer it, they'll probably lose customers. The reason behind this culture of paying in installments is that goods in Brazil are considerably more expensive than in many other countries. A phone that costs around $1,000 in the United States might set you back over $2,000 in Brazil. A basic car is usually 50 to 80% more expensive than in Europe. Perfume, clothes, wine and cosmetics can cost 1.5 to 2 times as much. Even things made locally aren't much cheaper, as companies still face high energy costs, long transport routes, and complicated red tape. Meanwhile, average income levels haven't kept pace with these soaring prices. In big cities like São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, the average worker only earns about $400 to $600 a month. With that sort of income, buying a new phone or home appliance outright is almost impossible. As a result, splitting payments into smaller installments becomes the only practical way for most people to get the products they want. Banks and finance companies have quickly jumped on this trend, offering flexible consumer credit plans directly linked to shops. Buyers can pay over 6, 10 or 12 months, sometimes with interest, sometimes without. On price tags, you'll often see something like 10 times to 100 reais, which means 10 payments of 100 reais each. In smaller towns or suburban areas, a simpler version of this system still exists, known as fiado, or buying on credit. Local grocery shops or clothing stores keep a ledger for regular customers, allowing them to pay gradually over several weeks. It's an old-fashioned, trust-based way of doing business that's still very much a part of local economic life. Did you know that in the middle of the dry Sertão region lies a giant sinkhole that has astonished scientists all over the world? Locals call it Buraco das Araras, which means macaw sinkhole. The crater is over 500 meters wide and nearly 100 meters deep, big enough to fit an entire skyscraper inside. It was formed millions of years ago when the limestone beneath the surface collapsed, leaving a massive hole. More than 1,000 kilometers to the northeast lies the Vale do Catimbo, one of Brazil's most important archaeological sites. Located in the state of Pernambuco, the area covers about 620 square kilometers, filled with strange sandstone formations, cliffs up to 100 meters high, and over 100 caves showing signs of human life from at least 6,000 years ago. Inside, archaeologists have found more than 1,200 ancient paintings, depicting scenes of hunting, religious rituals, and daily life. Amazingly, the colors of these paintings are still almost perfect thanks to the dry, hot climate. Beyond its historical value, Vale do Catimbau is also a treasure for geologists, as its rock layers hold evidence of the South American continent's prehistoric movements. Despite its importance, the valley remains relatively untouched by tourism, allowing visitors to explore it in almost untouched natural conditions. Further east lies Chapada Diamantina, an ancient plateau stretching nearly 40,000 square kilometers across the state of Bahia. Here you'll find two of the most magical underground lakes in the world, Poço Azul and Poço Encantado, meaning blue well and enchanted well. Both are hidden deep inside limestone caves, where sunlight only gets in for a few hours each day. When the rays hit at just the right angle, the crystal clear water bends the light, making the entire pool glow with a turquoise hue. The water is so clear, with visibility over 60 meters, that you can see all the way to the bottom. Researchers have found fossils of prehistoric animals in Poço Azul dating back around 11,000 years. Today, visitors can float on the surface with life jackets, suspended in water as clear as glass, witnessing this breathtaking natural light show. So, which of these three places would you most like to visit? Tell us your choice in the comments below. In the state of Bahia, there's a lake that has puzzled scientists for decades, Lagoa dos Negros, also known as the Lake of the Black Men. Covering more than 15 square kilometers, it sits in the dry, semi-desert region of Caatinga. What's odd is that it completely disappears at certain times of the year, only to pop up again months later, full of water as if it had never dried up. Many theories have been put forward. Some geologists believe there's a network of limestone caves and underground rivers beneath the lake, directly connected to deep underground water sources that make the water rise and fall with underground pressure. Others argue the area sits on a geological fault line, where water might drain through deep cracks into the earth. However, studies of the water so far haven't pinpointed the exact path of the water. What confuses scientists most is that no sinkholes, drainage holes, or underground channels big enough to explain the phenomenon have been found. Locals, on the other hand, believe the lake is swallowed by an ancient spirit once trapped beneath it, who is set free whenever the waters go down. Whether you believe in science or legend, this vanishing and reappearing lake remains one of Brazil's greatest unsolved mysteries. About 2,000 kilometers to the south in the state of Rio Grande do Sul lies another mysterious place known as the ghost town of Brazil, Minas do Camaquã. Set in a lonely grassland, this town was once one of South America's busiest copper mining centers during the 20th century. In the 1950s, more than 10,000 workers lived there, complete with a theater, hospital, school, and cinema, a thriving community in the middle of nowhere. But by the early 1990s, the mine shut down after the copper ran out, and residents gradually left the area, leaving behind hundreds of deserted homes and dark tunnels still filled with old machinery. What makes the place eerie isn't just the ruins, but the strange things that happen inside the mine. People who have gone back claim they've heard metallic banging echoing through the tunnels, even though no one is inside. Some magnetic field sensors have picked up unusual changes over 100 meters deep, as if a powerful energy source was buried below. Geological survey teams suggested that the mine might contain highly magnetic minerals that mess with the equipment. But geophysicists have dismissed that idea, saying no known mineral deposits in the area could cause such strong magnetic effects. Locals believe the mine is haunted by the spirits of miners who died in cave-ins decades ago. Today, Minas do Camaquã has become a tourist spot, but visitors are only allowed to go in with a guide. Many people still think that Brazil's capital is Rio de Janeiro. That's understandable. For nearly 200 years, Rio was indeed the country's political center. What few people know, however, is that this seaside city was once the capital of Portugal itself. In 1808, when Napoleon invaded the Iberian Peninsula, King João VI of Portugal fled to South America with his entire royal court, turning Rio de Janeiro into the heart of the Portuguese Empire for 13 years. It was the first time in history that a European nation had established its capital on another continent. After Brazil gained independence in 1822, Rio remained the capital for almost 2 centuries. By the mid-20th century, however, the Brazilian government decided to move its political center inland to encourage more balanced national development. Instead of choosing an existing city, they built an entirely new capital from scratch, Brasília. The name was created alongside the city itself, derived from the word Brazil, symbolizing a new Brazil and embodying the nation's aspiration for unity and progress. Brasília was planned by architect Lúcio Costa and completed in just 41 months after construction began in 1956. From above, the city looks like a giant airplane. The central body houses the National Congress, the Presidential Palace, and the Supreme Court, while the 2 wings contain residential areas, schools, hospitals, and shopping centers. In 1987, UNESCO recognized Brasília as a World Cultural Heritage Site, praising it as a masterpiece of modern urban planning and one of the youngest capitals ever included on the list. However, not all residents find life in such a perfectly planned city comfortable. The zones in Brasília are highly segregated. Residential areas are located far from shopping districts, hospitals, and government offices, all connected by wide multi-lane avenues. This layout makes driving almost unavoidable. The city has few sidewalks and virtually no narrow streets, making it difficult for pedestrians to interact naturally. Many Brazilians jokingly call Brasilia a capital built for cars, not for people. A survey by the University of Brasilia once found that over 70% of residents commute by private car daily, the highest rate in the country. Urban planners still regard Brasilia as an architectural icon, but also as a thought-provoking example of whether a city that looks perfect on paper can truly be perfect for the people who live in it. What do you think about that? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 5. The vibrant nightlife of Brazil. When it comes to nightlife in Brazil, 3 cities stand out the most: Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, and Salvador. In Rio de Janeiro, the heart of the city's nightlife is the Lapa district. This historic neighborhood sits beneath the Arcos da Lapa, a stone aqueduct built in the 18th century. After the tram system that once crossed it was shut down, the area was transformed into Rio's biggest entertainment hub. Today, within just a few blocks around Lapa Square, there are over 200 bars, nightclubs, and live music venues operating every night. Music is the soul of the neighborhood, especially samba, a genre born right here in Rio in the early 20th century. Many of Brazil's legendary samba artists, such as Cartola and Beth Cavallo, started their careers performing in Lapa, turning it into the cradle of samba. Thanks to that heritage, every weekend tens of thousands of people flock here to dance, listen to music, and sip the city's iconic cocktail, the caipirinha. While Lapa represents Rio's traditional spirit, São Paulo showcases the modern face of Brazilian nightlife. As the largest city in South America with more than 12 million residents, São Paulo practically never sleeps. Its nightlife center is Vila Madalena, a neighborhood famous for blending street art, gastronomy, and music. The area is packed with hundreds of bars, pubs, and restaurants that stay open all night, offering everything from jazz and rock to electronic beats. Vila Madalena is also considered the birthplace of Brazil's craft beer movement, with dozens of local breweries that started there. In addition, São Paulo boasts an impressive rooftop bar scene where visitors can enjoy panoramic views of the glowing city skyline. According to the local tourism department, the downtown area alone has more than 1,500 entertainment venues open past midnight, a rare number for South America. Salvador, on the other hand, has a completely different vibe. The city's strong African heritage is most vividly expressed through its music. In the historic Pelourinho district, street drum bands perform samba, reggae, and axé almost every night. These genres combine African rhythms with Latin melodies, creating a sound that's unique to Brazil's northeastern coast. Salvador is also known as the city with the most music festivals in the country, hosting over 60 major events each year, most of them outdoors and free to attend. Here, music isn't just entertainment, it's a living expression of culture and local pride. Number 4. The most unique festivals in Brazil. One of the most famous and spectacular events in Brazil is the Rio de Janeiro Carnival. It's considered the largest street festival in the world, attracting more than 2 million people each day. The carnival dates back to the 18th century when the Portuguese brought their pre-Lenten celebration traditions to Brazil. Over time, it merged with African music and samba dance, creating a unique style deeply rooted in Brazilian identity. Each year, the biggest samba schools in Rio compete in the Sambadrome, with each group made up of around 3,000 to 5,000 performers, parading through the 700-meter-long avenue all night long. About 1,500 kilometers north of Rio, the city of Salvador hosts a completely different kind of carnival. The Salvador Carnival takes place outdoors, and what makes it special is that there's no fixed stage or grandstand. Instead, artists perform on massive trucks known as Trio Elétrico, each equipped with powerful sound systems and mobile stages on top. As the trucks roll through the streets, hundreds of thousands of people follow on foot, singing and dancing along for kilometers. Salvador is also the birthplace of axé music, a vibrant fusion of samba, reggae, and African percussion rhythms. The atmosphere here is more down-to-earth, communal, and filled with genuine local spirit, compared to Rio's grand spectacle. Another festival that's less known internationally but hugely popular across Brazil is Festa Junina. This event originated in Europe, brought over during the colonial period, and is held to honor Saint John. Today, Festa Junina is celebrated nationwide, especially in the northeastern regions. Throughout June, people hold outdoor parties, light bonfires, wear traditional rural costumes, and dance the folk quadrilla. A fun highlight is the mock wedding, where participants act out a humorous countryside wedding, complete with bride, groom, musicians, and even a playful bride kidnapping, a cheerful nod to old rural customs. Number 3. Must-try dishes in Brazil. The first dish that everyone should try when visiting Brazil is feijoada, the famous black bean stew, often called the country's national dish. Feijoada is made with black beans and various cuts of pork, served with white rice, orange slices, and sautéed greens. But what makes it special isn't just the recipe, it's the history behind it. The dish dates back to the 16th century when African slaves used leftover meat from their masters and cooked it with black beans to make a hearty meal. Over time, feijoada became a symbol of Brazil's cultural fusion among Europeans, Africans, and indigenous peoples. Today, Brazilians traditionally eat it on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and many restaurants serve it only on those 2 days as part of that custom. Another popular staple is pão de queijo, which means cheese bread. These small baked rolls are made with tapioca starch instead of wheat flour, giving them a chewy texture unlike any regular bread. Pão de queijo first appeared in the 18th century in the state of Minas Gerais, where cassava was more common than wheat. Despite its humble origins, it's now found everywhere, from roadside cafes to fast food chains. Each year, Brazilians consume over 1 billion pieces of cheese bread, and many domestic airlines even serve it as a national snack. Finally, there's brigadeiro, a beloved dessert found at nearly every Brazilian birthday party. Created in the 1940s, the brigadeiro combines condensed milk, cocoa powder, and butter, rolled into small balls and coated with chocolate sprinkles. It was named after Air Force Brigadier Eduardo Gomes, who once ran for president. Volunteers in his campaign made the treat to raise funds, and it quickly became famous across the country. More than 80 years later, the brigadeiro remains the star of every sweet table in Brazil. Number 2. Travel tips for visiting Brazil. One of the first things travelers should know when visiting Brazil is not to carry valuables when going out. In big cities like Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo, pickpocketing or phone snatching can happen even in broad daylight, especially in crowded areas or tourist spots. Locals rarely hold their phones while walking and only take them out when necessary. If you want to take photos, it's best to look around first or ask a companion to keep an eye on your belongings to avoid becoming a target. Another important tip is to avoid taking taxis waiting on the street, especially near airports or tourist zones. Some drivers might take advantage of tourists by taking longer routes or charging extra fees. Ride-hailing apps like Uber or 99 are much safer and more reliable as prices are fixed and routes are tracked. At airports, Brazil has designated areas for app-based pickups, so simply head to the gate marked App Pickup. At the beach, never leave your belongings unattended. In Rio, quick grab-and-run thefts, known as arrastão, where groups rush by and snatch tourists' items, can happen when the beach gets crowded. Locals usually carry only small amounts of cash, an old phone, or their hotel key card. If they want to swim, they ask someone on a nearby chair to watch their things, a surprisingly common and fairly safe practice. When buying souvenirs or snacks, always check the price before paying. Some street vendors might quote inflated prices once they recognize you as a tourist. In markets like Feira Hippie in Rio or Mercado Municipal in São Paulo, bargaining is completely normal. If the seller refuses to lower the price, just smile, say thank you, and walk away. Chances are they'll call you back with a better offer. And finally, beware of unexpectedly kind strangers. Sometimes someone might approach you offering help with directions or a photo, but their goal is to distract you while an accomplice moves in on your bag. The best way to stay safe is to smile, politely decline, and keep walking. In Brazil, being friendly is encouraged, but a little caution will make your trip much more enjoyable. Number 1. Cost of living in Brazil. Brazil is one of the countries with the most diverse living costs in the world. Housing is usually the biggest expense. In central São Paulo, renting a one-bedroom apartment costs between $600 and $900 per month, while in the suburbs it's around $400. In smaller cities, the rent drops to about $250 to $350. Food expenses depend largely on your lifestyle. If you cook at home, an adult typically spends about $100 to $150 per month on basics like rice, beans, meat, vegetables, and fruit. Local products are affordable, but imported goods such as cheese or wine can be quite expensive. Eating out costs more. A simple lunch is around $5 to $7, while a mid-range dinner runs between $15 and $25 per person. Public transportation in major cities costs about $1 per ride, or $40 to $60 for a monthly pass. Ride-hailing services like Uber are more popular and safer, though more expensive, averaging $5 to $10 for a short trip. Other regular expenses like electricity, water, internet and phone bills come to around $80 to $120 per month for a small household. High-speed internet typically costs $25 to $35. The public healthcare system is free but often overcrowded, so many foreigners choose private insurance, which ranges from $50 to $150 per month. On average, a single person living in a major city like São Paulo needs about $800 to $1,200 per month for a comfortable lifestyle, while in smaller cities $500 to $700 is usually enough. So there you have it, 15 incredible, mind-blowing facts about Brazil that reveal just how extraordinary this country truly is. From tribes living entirely in the present moment to underground lakes that glow like liquid sapphire, from a capital built from scratch in the middle of nowhere, to festivals that bring millions to the streets in pure joy, Brazil is a land of endless wonder and contrast. If you found this video fascinating, please hit that like button. It really helps us reach more curious minds like yours. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next adventure into the world's most amazing places. We have so many more incredible destinations to explore together. Which fact impressed you the most? Was it the vanishing lake, the uncontacted tribes, the extreme wealth gap? Drop a comment below and let us know. We read every single one and love hearing your thoughts. Remember, the information shared here is for reference and entertainment purposes. If you're planning to visit Brazil or any location mentioned, always do your own research and take appropriate safety precautions. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep discovering the incredible world we live in. See you in the next video.